first video of 2022, and am I stuck in 2022? It's the first video of 2024 and we have just hit record. Hi guys, welcome back again to the channel. If it's your first time seeing my face, my name is OMUGWO and you're most definitely welcome. Please do well to hit that subscribe button down below. I have a pillow that says subscribe. So please do well to subscribe, darling. If you end up enjoying this video, give the video a massive thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Okay, how is the new year going for you guys so far? For me, I've just been soaking in the moment. I know that this year I want to be super consistent on YouTube, and I'm really going to try my best to post at least 2 videos a week every single week. I know that that's very grand, but that's my first New Year's resolution, as well as being consistent on TikTok. If you want to follow me on TikTok, it's as told by Dr. Honey, so please follow me on TikTok as well, just to keep up with everything that I'm going to be doing on there. And without further ado, let's jump right into this video. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing a few things that I've learned before I turned 30. Now you guys know that I'm turning the big 30 this year. It's actually ridiculous because when I started my channel, I was 26. So how am I turning 30? I'm so sorry. Where did all this time go? And that leads me to my very first point, which is the fact that you will never feel like an adult. I'm turning 30, and by every definition of the word adult, I am an adult. I'm married, I have a daughter, I pay my bills, I have responsibilities, I have a career that I'm trying to grow, I have everything, but I still don't feel like an adult. In my mind, I literally still feel the exact same way that I felt when I was 21, the exact same way that I felt when I was 18. My mind can't comprehend how I'm 30. It's actually ridiculous. By June 3rd, I'm going to be 30, and that's just wild, and it's mind-blowing to me. So the first thing is that you're never going to feel like an adult, and that's something that you should know, because by the time life starts to happen, and you're like, I'm just a child, how is this happening? Remember that you're just never going to feel like an adult, but you have to suck it up and keep it moving. The next thing that I've learned is to stop feeling sorry for yourself, because let me tell you, and this one relates directly to me, because last year I had a TikTok page that I was growing, and I've mentioned the TikTok page a few times on this channel, but I was really doing well on that TikTok page. I was getting brands and everything. It was working out fine, and then the TikTok page got deleted at about 80,000 followers or slightly under, and that really made me feel some type of way. Like, I was so hurt, I was so sad, I was wallowing in self-pity, and so I decided to make another TikTok page, and I did this TikTok page. My first TikTok page took me about 6 months to get to 80k. My second TikTok page took me about 2 months to get to 5k followers, and that page got deleted as well. So between January and I would say August or September, I already had 2 TikTok pages that were deleted. And this really messed with my psyche, because from September all the way down till December, I didn't post anything on any of my social media pages, not Instagram, not YouTube, not TikTok, because I was so sad about what had happened and I was wallowing in self-pity. Now, the moral lesson of the story that I'm sharing is this: if you continue to wallow in self-pity, the world is just gonna move past you, because at the end of the day, although people may feel sorry for you, but no one has time to wait for you to get your shit together. So do yourself a favor, speak to yourself and get your shit together, because I'm just looking at it from this point of view, that if I decided to start my TikTok page again, or if I didn't stop posting on Instagram and YouTube, maybe I would have posted something that could have gotten really viral. Maybe I would have made some money from my social media pages during that period, stuff like that. But I was feeling sorry for myself. And one thing you don't want to do is turn a bad situation into a bad life. Because same thing as, for example, you've been jilted or you're heartbroken and you feel so sad that your boyfriend left you and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. So you decide to feel sorry for yourself, and then you decide to turn that bad situation into a bad life because you've now decided that no one is worthy of sharing your love and you're not worthy of receiving love in return, and you've just made yourself a miserable person. So the moral lesson of this story that I shared is, number one, stop feeling sorry for yourself, get your shit together and move on, keep it moving. And also, very relatedly, is to not turn a bad situation into a bad life, because that's just not the vibe. That's just not the vibe. And I'm sorry, I know that no one wants to hear this, and I know that some people might be triggered by this, but it is what it is, okay? Get your shit together and keep it moving. As long as you're alive, there is hope. And when there is hope, there is a way. Okay. Also very connected is the fact that everything in life is just a phase. I know that right now it seems like if, oh, I'm so sad, how is this gonna happen? My life is so this, my life is so that. But trust me, my darling, everything in life is just a phase. If you hang in there for long enough, if you're patient, if you have a good outlook to life, and if you've decided not to turn a bad situation into a bad life, it will pass. It will pass. And like they say, time heals all wounds. Time certainly does make things better. So allow time do its thing. And while time is doing its thing, just put a good outlook on life, have a good approach to life, and refuse to allow a bad situation become a bad life. I'll just acknowledge the fact that everything in life is a phase. Okay, if you think you're going through a rough time at the moment, it's just a phase. If you hang in there for long enough, if you're hardworking, consistent, patient, everything, it will pass, and then you'll start to reap the benefits of your labor. I hope that makes sense to you. Consistency and sacrifice cannot be overemphasized. Do you remember how I spoke about how I wasn't consistent on my social media for the last quarter of last year, and that definitely took a toll on me, definitely took a toll on all my pages, definitely took a toll on my business, and that's just not what I want to do moving forward. So what I've learned is consistency, and the power of consistency cannot be overemphasized, because it's just like throwing a dart. No matter how unskilled you are at throwing the dart, if you throw that dart for long enough, you're gonna hit the bullseye. That's just the way it is. Because even if your skill doesn't get you that bullseye, the fact that you've been consistent is going to get you the bullseye, okay? So either one of the two will get you what you want. And at the end of the day, the important thing is that you have your goal, which is what you want. So it's very important to know that you must be consistent and you must make sacrifices, because it's not every time that I wake up that I feel like posting content. It's not every time that I wake up that I want to go to work. It's not every time that I wake up that I want to people, sometimes I just want to be in my bed all day. I don't want to speak to anyone. I don't want to have any outside interactions. I don't want to do anything. I just want to be in bed, watch a movie, scroll through social media and all of that. But you know that every day can't be like that, because that is where sacrifice comes into play. Even though you don't feel like getting up that day to go out to work, even though you don't feel like getting up that day to chase your dreams and grind, you have to do that. If you don't do that, you're not gonna sow enough seeds that will be able to generate returns. I hope that makes sense to you. So it's very, very, very important for you to understand the importance of consistency and sacrifice. And that includes even your career, even your relationships, everything. You just have to be consistent and you have to be willing to make sacrifices, especially if you think that thing's important to you. It's not every time that you'll be hopping business class, or it's not every time that you would be buying luxury bags and stuff. I'm sure that everyone wants to buy luxury bags, but could you sacrifice that money instead to invest in a property, for example? Or could you sacrifice that money instead to invest in a business so that that can give you a better ROI in the future? I hope you know what I mean, because at the end of the day, sacrificing today to put into something that could give you better ROI in the future is really what makes the difference on a grand scale and in the larger scheme of things. Next point that I would be discussing is the fact that if they wanted to, they would, literally. I'm going to tell you this for free. Anybody who constantly gives you excuses as to why they couldn't do this, why they couldn't do that, why they couldn't be present in your life, why they couldn't be there for you, that person simply just doesn't want to. And that person simply doesn't think you're important enough. And that's the truth. I know that this is not what you want to hear. And I know that I sound a bit... but that is really what it is. You're simply not that important, and that's why that person doesn't value you enough to want to create the time or enough to want to make the sacrifice to be there for you. Which also leads me to my next point, which is the fact that if you've noticed that you're starting to resent someone all the time, then it's time for you to set boundaries with that person. Sometimes you have this favorite friend, your best friend, or your favorite influencer. Let me use something a bit more abstract. Your favorite influencer or your favorite celebrity. Like them, you admire them, you follow them, you start to idolize them. That's where the problem comes in. You start to idolize them, and then you start to get jealous of them. You start to want their life. You start to want to be exactly like them. And that then starts to build resentment in your mind, because you discover that your life is not like them and that you're not them. So then you start to get jealous. My darling, at that point, once you notice that feeling and you acknowledge that feeling, it's time for you to block that person. Same goes with friendships. You have a friend who's a best friend, but then you're starting to notice that everything that this person does starts to annoy you because you're low-key jealous of them in your mind. It's time to stop being friends with them, because it means that you can't handle them. So it's time to set boundaries around those type of people. And it's not particularly because of them, but it's because of you. And you need to understand yourself. You need to pay attention to your feelings, and you need to respect those feelings enough to understand what they mean and how to react to them. And the last and the final lesson that I would be sharing regarding things that I've learned before I turned 30 is the fact that your point of view creates your reality. I cannot stress this enough. Think about it. How many times have you thought of something badly enough or wanted something badly enough, and all of a sudden you find yourself in that situation? For example, you've wanted this beautiful bag for the longest time, so every action that you take starts to be geared towards realizing and actualizing that dream of buying that shoe. And it might not even be conscious, and you might not even know that that's what's happening, but it is what it is. Your point of view becomes your reality. So therefore, if you view yourself as someone who isn't successful, or you view yourself as a failure, best believe that subconsciously your mind is going to start to take note of this, and you're going to start making stupid decisions in life, and you're going to start doing stupid things in life that will create stupid results, and that will ultimately make you a failure. Which is why earlier on in this channel I've spoken a few times about the power of manifestation, the power of being the Lulu and stuff like that. I've always known that I wanted to fly business class at some point in my life, and I know that even now in the future, I want that business class thing to be irregular in my life. I don't want to be flying economy anymore. And last year, I was fortunate enough to experience business class, because in my mind, I knew that I wanted to fly business class at some point. And so every action that I started to take consciously and subconsciously was geared towards making that vision a reality. If I think to myself that I'm a princess, if I think to myself that I'm a millionaire, every action that I begin to take consciously or subconsciously would be geared towards making that dream a reality, which is why it's very important for you to be careful, because even the Bible then says that the tongue has the power of life and death. So whatever you think in your mind and whatever you say with your mouth becomes your reality. So jokingly or not jokingly, avoid proclaiming negative things over your life, because soon enough those negative things will manifest in your life and you will begin to struggle and you will begin to be faced with challenges and problems, and you would wonder why this is happening to you. But little do you know that you were the one who proclaimed those things over your life. So my darling brothers and sisters, to conclude this video, I just want you to know that 30 is not that old at all. I remember very clearly when I turned 21, and just a few years later, now I'm turning 30 very soon, and I don't even know how to act, because I literally still feel the exact same way that I felt then. Only thing is now I'm fatter. Now I have a child, now I have a husband, but in my mind I still feel the exact same way. So like I said earlier, you're never really going to feel like an adult, but you just get a grip and keep it moving. Okay, anyways guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to give the video a massive thumbs up if you end up enjoying it. Like, share, subscribe and all that good stuff, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.